Hey, Tara here. It's really good to be here with you. And if you're just joining for the first time, I want to say welcome. If you are returning for a second time thereafter, I just want to say welcome as well. And I'm going to jump right back in to where we left off, and just to give you a little bit of a recap of what that looked like working from home around your children, especially because we know that there are going to be days where your child gets sent home from school sick. There's going to be days where, the weather conditions do not permit you to work from home. There's going to, or permit you to take them to school. So, in other words, they're going to be home with you. And there's always a situation that arises, and I apologize, my 8-year-old is home with me in the background working on some clay stuff. But at any rate, working from home around children can sometimes be really challenging. So here are a few strategies that I encourage you with to keep you on track as you're building your business from home around the kids. And what that looks like is devising your schedule. Here's what I do. I'm going to share. Is I set some time aside to do my social media each and every day. Okay. And that may be half an hour, 20 minutes to an hour, just kind of depends, okay? You may have to break it up several times a day in order to get it done, okay? But what I encourage you to do, rather than breaking it up by day, per day, is setting aside one day out of your week that you line up your schedule for the week. I like doing it, taking my day of rest on a Saturday, and then on a Sunday, I go back to my schedule and I devise it for the week. It does not mean that I don't necessarily add on the appointments, because as I talk to people, I may see where I can fit them into my schedule. But if I already have my schedule lined up, I know where those openings are. So I can continue to tell my time where it needs to go. Okay. And that's not to say that I don't still set aside certain days, certain times to work on content, to work on writing, to work on graphics or things of that nature, or to do Facebook Lives each day, because I see the value in having those times set aside still in my calendar to get things done and accomplished, okay? Because that's active work time. It's with a purpose. I know that eventually I'm going to put myself in a position, okay, where everything is going to be lined up, and then if I need to have some flexibility, I know that I have that flexibility in my schedule available to do so. So I feel it gives me more leverage with time. I can put my time where I need it to go instead of life continuing to happen. And that's not to say that my kids don't have appointments or that, we don't have extracurricular activities going on. We still have all of those things. But just like with my work, I set those appointments in my schedule. Okay, my kid having an extracurricular thing is an actual appointment for me. Okay, and I set that time aside so that way I know not to book an appointment. Okay, here are a few other options that are going to save you some time, particularly when you want to spend more time with your children. We talked about giving yourself grace. It's great to create memories and spend some time with them. So if you're wanting to leverage your time and work smarter, not necessarily longer, I think you're working equally as hard. It's just a matter of leveraging the time so that you have time working for you instead of against you. And so with that comes a few key strategies. And for one, I recommend, if you have your own business and you're wanting to get, let's say, an email sent out, a newsletter sent out, or you're wanting to create graphics, let's say, for your website, okay? There's a really great app option, okay? You can do it from your computer or you can do it from your home. It's called Canva, Canva, okay? And what's great about Canva is, like, you can do a variety of things. You can do flyers, you could do, graphics for your social media, you can do it for your emails that you send out. You can create graphics for those in your drag and drop builder, like say you use Aweber. as a means of getting a series out in email, and you want to create graphics for all that kind of stuff, okay? You can use that, and it already has pre-generated templates made. So you can put on it whatever you want. You can add whatever graphics you want, and you're not actually having to go through actual website coding in order to accomplish it, because that alone will save you a ton of time, unless you know and are very strategic about knowing how it is to build websites. The other thing that I encourage you with is a small app. You can use it on your computer, on your phone as well. And it is called Fiverr, Fiverr, okay, Fiverr. And Fiverr is great because it allows you to outsource. So whatever you're limited in time with, if you want something done that looks really nice, and I often use this when I do like my free offers, or if I've got smaller work that takes more detail and I just don't have the room in my schedule, I can outsource that through Fiverr. And you look for somebody that can do, whatever it is that you need done, whether it's your graphics or creating an offer, or you need, a book cover designed. They have different people there within Fiverr that are kind of like, they work for themselves, or like their own independent contractors, and you can actually use them and pay them a certain amount of fee, and they tell you up front what that fee is. And you can choose to go with them or not go with them, okay? But let's say that you do. You pay that fee, and then you outsource whatever it is that you need to free up time with, right? It's just a great way of making something look professional, like especially when you're, first really learning and you're not as confident yet in your abilities, or maybe you are, but you just really need to leverage your time. So you either have access to time or money. Okay, so at this point you're leveraging more money by outsourcing it and getting it done. Okay, so that's another way to save on some time when you're working around your children. Okay, another thing too is setting boundaries with your time. Set limits for those. Okay, and we talked about this a little bit last time, and then I had to go. Okay, but I really encourage you to look at your schedule, set boundaries with your time, and tell your time where it needs to go according to your schedule, okay? And if there is something on your schedule that is not serving you, I want you to remove that out of your schedule. Sometimes we think it's a good thing, but it's not really. If it's not making you money and it's not saving you time, really reconsider it if it needs to go, because sometimes we need to be pruned back so that we can be entrusted with more and go to that next level, because it will require time to learn new skill sets. Remember, you always want to position yourself to be growing, okay? You never want to put yourself in a position where you're staying comfortable and you remain stagnant, okay? That's a great way to not grow, and you always want to be growing. You always want to be investing into yourself and into your skill sets. So you always want to set time aside to be able to do those things. Well, what does that have to do with your children? Everything, because you don't want to add an extra hour that you're away from your children while working. Okay, so if you're looking to leverage your time and increasing your skill sets, you may need to look at your schedule and say, hey, this is where I need to cut time out. Here's where I need to put that time, okay? So that you're using it more wisely and you're using your time a little bit more effectively. Maybe you need to go back and see in your schedule how you can improve with the time that you do have in working, so that you're not taking away from your children. And give yourself a little bit of grace if you're not able to accomplish that right away. Sometimes it takes time to transition. But in the end of the day, okay, you want to put your family commitments and your children's commitments in first and work around those things, because your children are watching and observing what you model to them, okay? It may look like they're on their tablet or look like they're playing outside, but really they're observing you from time to time and seeing what your habits look like. So you want to be very careful, because the way that you model things to your children, that starts at a very young age, and they catch on and they watch what it is that you do, okay? And in some cases they want to be like you because they look up to you. So you really want to be careful what you're modeling to them. Secondly, they grow so quick and you never get those moments back, okay? So it's a short span of time in which you are able to spend and connect with them. Okay, so if you don't get all of the things done on your list, you pick those 2 to 3 things, or you re-look at the list and reprioritize it, okay, and say, okay, I now don't have the time to do this because it requires a little bit more time, but what on this list can I do in the time that I have available? Okay, even if the other things are a priority. Okay, really consider your children. They grow once, you're entrusted with them for so long, and yes, they're still in your life, but at a different level and capacity, right? So, you want to cherish that time you have with them, because later on they're going to look back at those memories and say, I remember when we had snow days and Mom, you used to do this, this, and this with us, and it was so much fun, right? You want to create positive memories and a positive lifestyle for your children. You want them to feel that security and that stability, that you are always there with them, cheering them on, partnering alongside of your children, right? Because yes, you are still a parent, but being a parent also means having fun and spending time with your children and creating, things that they can look back on and really cherish with you. And the time does go fast. You'll have your season to really blow things up out of the water, but don't be afraid to build something very part-time. Remember, it's how consistent and how focused you stay in the time that you do have, not necessarily the amount of time that you have to spend. Anyway, I hope that this brought some sort of value. I appreciate you taking the time out to watch part 2. And I apologize for leaving abruptly, but I really did have to get my daughter. But anyway, it's part of being mom. Sometimes you just have to take off on a whim and get things done. At any rate, though, it was really great spending just a few minutes of my day with you. If you're just now jumping on, go back and catch the replay because you won't want to miss this information. It was really great content. I'm going to leave my contact information in the comments to this video below. So if you'd like to reach out to me, there are 3 ways in which you can do that. The first being Facebook. Okay, and if we are not friends, I do still check my others folder. So make sure that you are checking that. And sending me messages however you desire to communicate, whatever is most comfortable for you, and know that I will check that others folder and get back in touch with you as well on my end. The other way is by email. I do check my email daily, okay, and the other way is leaving my website for you so that you guys can click on that. It's going to ask you to fill out your name and your email, so go ahead and do that. And then it will say fill out application. Now, I know it looks like you're filling out an application, but really what it is getting in my calendar so that you and I can book a time that we can personally connect together one-on-one. I look forward to talking with you further. I am going to be considering doing a Facebook Live tomorrow. The time is going to be to be determined at this point. So just stay tuned on my wall and I will let you know when that is. And otherwise, if you don't have any questions or comments, but would like to join again, just stay tuned and I will update you as to what that looks like for tomorrow. And until then, stay blessed and have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.